say hello to 2-day-old Australian Labradoodle puppies. In today's video, we are doing a birth announcement for Posy and Sumac's Pacific Coast Confection litter. These little Australian Labradoodle puppies are petites and they are not quite 2 days old. Hi, I'm Claire from Van Isle Labradoodles, and in today's video we're going to tell you all about Posy's delivery process. That's going to be a really short part of the video and you'll find out why soon. And then we're going to introduce you to each of the puppies in the litter, and we're going to tell you a little bit about their color, their pattern, and what sex they are. So this litter was due on November the 1st, and Posy decided she was going to do everything just on schedule. She had shown us all throughout the day that she was uncomfortable and she was in stage 1 labor. So she was not panting like she is now. She's panting like she is right now because it's hot in here. The puppies are not able to regulate their body temperature. So in the room we have the temperature up to 24 degrees Celsius. So that's pretty warm. And then you've got all these beautiful, adorable, but pretty warm bodies snuggled right up against your tummy. So it tends to make for a hot situation. So panting is a sign of early labor, but Posy wasn't panting. What she was doing was she was trembling. And trembling is also a really common sign for first stage labor. And when we say a girl is in stage 1 labor, what that means is the contractions that she's having are internal and they are such that we don't see them on the outside of her body. We would not be aware that she was even having contractions if she didn't show us something such as trembling, panting, and then later on some digging and other behavior like that. Now, one of the main signs that you know a girl is about to give birth is they stop eating. So it's a natural behavior to evacuate their body in order to prepare for the birth process. So in the morning, Posy didn't eat her breakfast, she didn't eat lunch, and she didn't eat dinner. She didn't want to eat anything all day, even treats she wasn't interested in eating. And so that combined with the fact that she was trembling, we knew that she was in labor. And then earlier in the day when we let her out, she went right to the bottom of our property. And we have an area that we call our burn pile. It's just accumulated debris from gardening and such during the season that we pile up. We're only allowed to burn for a few days a year here. And she went in there, she tunneled underneath everything, dug around in there for a while, and when she came back, she was head to toe, sopping wet and absolutely filthy. And this was right after we had her go to the groomer to get all cleaned up in preparation for her puppies. So you can imagine it wasn't my favorite thing when I saw her come back like that. But we cleaned her all up. We didn't give her a bath because once a dog is pregnant, and especially when they're getting ready to deliver babies, their cervix is dilated, and so it's very easy for bacteria to get in. So we don't like to have them in the water too much. So we just toweled her off and brushed and toweled and brushed and toweled. And I think she came up looking pretty spotless. I can see she still has some things on her. And it has been raining here on Vancouver Island. So each time she goes out, she does tend to pick up a little bit of something. Now when we find dirt like this on our mama dogs, this little bit she has on her paw here, we don't worry about it unduly because we want to be sure that these puppies are being exposed to natural things. We don't want to keep them in a bubble. We want their immune systems to be developing as they would be exposed to things that would be naturally occurring in dog world. So once Posy had shown us that she was going to go and try and make a home in a nice, muddy, mucky, wet place for her puppies, we didn't let her out except for on a leash for the rest of the day. And nothing much was happening, and so we knew it's a pretty good chance. So we went to bed early. We were in bed by 10 and went to sleep, and then at midnight this one came and she told me she was pawing at me, and then she started digging like crazy. She took all the dog beds in our bedroom apart. There were 5. We have 5 dogs sleeping with us. She took all the beds and she had them helter-skelter. She was throwing pillows every which way. She wanted to come and get into bed with me, and she wanted to dig everything up where all of our pillows that we have on the bed during the day and are off when we're in the bed. She was digging around through those and just generally restless and uncomfortable. And then not very long after midnight, the first puppy arrived. So the first puppy was born at 12:40 a.m. and by 1:31 a.m. they were all here, all 5 of them. It's amazing. Posy just delivers puppies like bum, 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 bum. Nothing stopping anything. No rest. No whelping paws that we see sometimes. Just let's get the job done. No fuss. And she was just so good. She gets very involved with the birth. She likes to participate. She likes to be the one who chews the cord. And she enjoyed eating all of her placentas. Now, eating placenta sounds pretty gross for us, and they are kind of yucky looking, I have to say, and they do have a little bit of a strong odor to them. But for dogs, the reason why they do that is to get nourishment. Because they haven't eaten for 24 or more hours beforehand, they're empty, and they've got to have some nutrients in order to start feeding all of these hungry mouths. And now normally, if people were not bringing food to the dogs, they would go for a few days without food while they waited for someone else in their group to bring them something. So it's a really natural instinct. Unfortunately, if you have a mom who's eating an unnatural processed kibble diet, it makes them really sick. They get terrible diarrhea. And the last thing you want is a girl who's just delivered puppies and gone through that stress to have her body under further stress by having diarrhea. And so a lot of breeders who feed kibble, they take the placentas away from their moms and they don't let them eat them, which is really a shame because all of those nutrients that are contained in the placenta are there intentionally by nature so that they're transferred into the milk and then provided to the puppies. It gives them so much of a boost and a real head start on things. So you'll find that puppies whose moms are eating a raw diet and whose moms consume the placentas tend to overall gain weight better and more quickly than their counterparts. And now if you take a look at these guys, you can see they're nice and plump. I can tell you they're gaining weight just beautifully. I don't think we'll have any trouble with hitting that doubling their birth weight milestone. And now statistically, because Posy is a caramel and she carries for chocolate, and sumac is a chocolate carrying caramel, we would have had a 50-50 litter, 50% chocolate and 50% caramel. But we all know that statistics are not something that you want to rely on if you want anything to be 100%. So in this litter, we have 4 caramels and we only have 1 chocolate. And the chocolate is a boy, and he is very similar to sumac. And then we have a little girl here, green collar, or little boy here rather, green collar boy, who's very similar in coloring and markings to Posy. And then the other 3 are a combination of the 2 of them. So everything went really smoothly. The delivery was easy. After puppy number 5 was born, Posy wolfed down about a pound of food, or a half a pound rather, of food, enjoyed that, quickly went outside, did a quick pee, and came running back in to her maternity ward here. Now this area Posy's familiar with. This is her last litter. It's her 3rd litter. She knows exactly where her babies are going to be. She came in, curled herself around them, and that was that. She's an awesome mom. She has the most gentle and kind way about her, and she's got a lovely, sweet spirit to her. And her puppies tend to reflect that. So now let's introduce you to each of the puppies, because that's the most fun part of it all. What do you say, Posy? Now, if Posy tells me she's uncomfortable with me picking them up and she doesn't want them to be away from her, then we'll talk about them while they're closer to her. We always let our mamas guide us and let them tell us what they're comfortable with, because it's very important to have a nice, calm mom. Because if mom's calm, that goes right into her milk, that goes right into your puppy that helps to produce a dog who's going to become as an adult. Now, I have to give you one little aside here. As most of you know, Reynolds and I are retiring, and part of that retirement means we're selling our home. And today we had showings. So you can imagine when you're trying to sell your house and you have puppies, that it's a little bit of a lot of logistics to look after. And so Joya is next door, and we have Posy here, and we have people coming in the front door. So we have all sorts of protocols in place to keep the puppies safe with shoes and nobody being allowed to enter this area. And so I stayed behind, not right here, but out in the doodle den with the monitors so I could see what was going on to make sure that the moms were okay with somebody coming in. And lo and behold, the people came in the door. Joya picked her head up. Posy opened her eyes. That was it. This is what I love to see. I love to have moms who are relaxed, confident, secure, and so when something out of the ordinary happens, they're not in the least bit concerned. They feel 100% safe here. They feel their babies are 100% protected and that they don't have to overreact and go into some barking frenzy. So they were very, very cooperative about that. Now, of course, these puppies don't get any benefit from that, but the puppies in the doodle den are having a wonderful benefit by having all sorts of different experiences, lots of different voices to hear, and learning that it doesn't mean that there's anything bad happening, that instead it's something fun and interesting. So now let's get back to the puppies. For all of our videos, we're going to do them in birth order, and we're going to start with our firstborn puppy, who is Blue Collar Boy, who's over here. Now, Blue Collar Boy is just a gorgeous caramel party boy. Now, right now, he doesn't look like he has a lot of color on him besides his white. But as he gets older, this caramel color is going to darken. It's okay, Popo. So you'll see he has caramel on his ear, a beautiful spot on his head. He's got another one here on his back, and we may see another few that show up on his body as time goes by. They tend to start off really light and then they darken over time. Hey, handsome. It looks like he might have a little bit that's going to go under his chin too. A little bit hard to tell right now. Right now he's just full of little pink toes and a pink nose and pink ears. And so Mr. Blue arrived at 12:40 a.m. and he weighed 168 grams. Yes, he did. Thank you, Posy. And then very shortly after that, we had Yellow Collar arrive. You want to take a look at him? Can I put him down here? There we go. Yellow Collar is the one and only chocolate puppy, and he's just over here. And he's nursing right now, so I'm just going to make sure. Oh, there. No, he's not actually attached. And Mr. Yellow, he is very similar to Papa Sumac in that he's a phantom, and he's actually a tri. You'll see he has white all on his chest there, under his chin. He doesn't have as much white on his face as Papa Sumac does, but he has all those pretty phantom markings with the copper there on the side of his face, up his legs, and look at those little white toes, ever so cute. And then you can see the phantom markings on his hind legs too. So Mr. Yellow, he arrived at 12:51 a.m., so just 11 minutes after Blue, and he was 148 grams. He is the smallest puppy in the litter, and you can tell they're petites because look at how readily he fits in my hand. He's going to fit into my hand for a little while, I think. Then after that, we had our one and only girl. Sumac seems to like to produce a lot of boys, and that's Red Collar. And Red Collar's hiding over here. There she is, and she's all snuggled up under Posy's tail there. Now, Red Collar girl, she looks a lot like Posy. You'll notice that she has a ton of white on her chest there. Her whole underneath is white. She's got loads of white on her legs, lots of white on her face and right up in this beautiful shape on the top of her head. Now right now you can see if I put her beside Posy, she's a little bit more of a biscuit color, a little bit more of a blonde than Posy is, and we'll just have to wait and see if that holds like that or she darkens and becomes a little bit more like Posy's color. But this is a caramel. This is what we would call an iced caramel right now, but we'll just have to wait and see if it really is an iced caramel or if she's maybe going to be a little bit of a darker caramel. And Miss Red, she arrived right on the dot of 1 a.m., so just 9 minutes later, and she was 167 grams. And then next, 19 minutes later, we had Green Collar being born. Excuse me, Mr. Blue, I'm just going to get your brother out from underneath here. Excuse me, thank you. Oh, Mr. Green. Now, Mr. Green, he is a caramel as well, and you can see he is almost identical to the color of Posy. A little bit of a darker color there in the caramel. And again, he looks like Posy. Tons and tons of white on the chest, under the chin, all straight up the face, a little bit on the back, and some on the toes. Almost a tuxedo, but not quite. Not quite enough markings to be an actual tuxedo. And Mr. Green was 1:19 a.m. and he was the biggest puppy in the litter at 194 grams. This guy did take a couple of extra pushes on Posy's part to get born. Yes, because we're so big for her. That's a big puppy for a little girl like Posy. And then last but not least, and we had the longest break here at 1:31 a.m. and making it all the puppies arrive within an hour was Mr. Orange Collar. Now I'm going to show you Mr. Orange while he's still lying down here. You'll see he has a really cool pattern. He is kind of like an Appaloosa horse. He's kind of smooshed. Technically speaking, he is a caramel abstract, but you can see that his markings are really interesting, totally unique in that he's got kind of a dark patch here, lots of white mottling here, and then we've got a different color going on here altogether. And even on his tail, he's got some spots on his tail. And if you look here on the back of his leg, we've got some darker color again. So I expect this puppy was almost a phantom, but things didn't quite work out. So I'm not sure, but we'll see how he develops. He may be technically a tuxedo. So a tuxedo puppy has to have white on the chest, under the chin, up over the face, over the head, right around the neck, and halfway up all four legs. So you can see he's got the rough and the white going on there. Looks like he's got the white up all four legs as well. So maybe we're going to end up having a tuxedo boy here. I don't know. We wait and see. We don't really care. You're just really cute. We know that. And so Mr. Orange arrived at 1:31, as I said, and he was 190 grams. So the two biggest puppies were the last two puppies to be born. It was a lot of work for Mom right at the end there to have you big guys. They're all doing fabulously. I hope you've enjoyed seeing the little videos that we've posted on Facebook. Posy's doing really well in terms of her eating. She and Joya both do require that somebody feed their food to them by hand. If apparently it tastes much better if it comes out of your hand. So we're in here quite often, and whenever I come in, I usually snap a few pictures or take a video and throw it up on video for everybody to enjoy. There you can see a good example there of Mr. Orange's really neat color in the back here, where we've got all these dark spots on the back of the leg. Really an interesting pattern. We had one puppy who was similar to that a long time ago, who we sold to a different breeder. Her name was Kipling. Same pedigree, so it doesn't surprise me we've got some of this interesting markings showing up. So that's her babies. Now you will have your weekly updates every week, and those will begin on a week Wednesday. You will have on a week Sunday. Your videos will come out every Sunday for your updates. So watch for your next one for your week 1 update, and we'll see who is the biggest and the smallest puppy then, if it stays the same or if it starts to change, and we'll give you an update as well on how Mama Posy is doing. This litter is fully reserved, and we wish everybody on this litter list well. You couldn't have picked a better litter because those are 5 incredibly gorgeous Labradoodle puppies. Thanks so much for watching.